Welcome you again on our third episode, Friday evening with Amajita. This is Youth in Purpose. We back again with some interesting tidings, interesting topics and things to talk about. So we all know that South Africa is one of the multiracial countries in the world with 11 official languages, which means 11 official heritage. So we
Actually 12 now.
it's 12. It's 12.
Yeah, it's 12 considering the Khoisan.
Oh, okay. I heard about that, but I didn't know that they've been recognized officially. So, but anyway, we recognize our fellow Khoisan Africans because I heard that the indigenous South Africans was one, the Khoisan tribe.
Who says that?
I was watching a Daily Theatre the other day, and then they made a claim, but they are the indigenous first people to ever stay in South Africa, per se, or in Southern Africa. So tomorrow is Heritage Day in South Africa, and then we are celebrating our cultures, our heritage, and everything. So this is what makes South Africa unique. So here in Friday evening with Amajita, we're talking about that today, tackling about that. So yeah, let's hear from Amajita, then and my girls at the same time. Siveng Augba, what do they have to say about this?
I don't know if this falls under heritage and you being proud as being a South African, but there was this one other time in our class where our lecturer shared a story with us, and I found that very intriguing. So she was saying that there's this child. I think it's the child of her friend. Oh, guys. Yeah, it's the child of her friend, and she was saying that the child. I think she's 8, 9 years. That
She was not proud about this.
Oh yeah. Oh guys.
I think I also heard someone speaking about this on social media, where a black woman saying that she thinks she's a white person, or she's a white person in a black skin, something like that. I think I don't think. Let's talk about what went wrong with our African cultures per se, because you can see that we are shifting away from our own indigenous cultures or traditions or heritage, however it is, and we're adapting to a Western tradition per se. You can see, for an example, the way we dress. You see, now it's more common to walk on the street and find a woman half dressed, something like that. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm saying let's be open-minded to it and talk about it as Africans, because there are traditions like Amasutu. They used to wear in that way, but like being half dressed, something like that. You see, a man who wears something like ivalela pele, so it's one of our heritages as Africans.
The Khoisans too.
The Khoisans as well. They wore like that. So does culture on its own divide us as human beings, or in a negative way or in a positive way? So I want us to talk about that. Because at the end of the day, we are all human beings. We are coming from somewhere, and there's something that connects us all together. And at some point, personally, I think a culture is dividing us. So we can talk about that.
Okay. Okay. Like you said, we're all the same, and it's true that culture does divide us. It should actually. But okay, we are the same, but we're different. He's Xhosa, I'm Zulu. Amasiko ethu awafani. Okay. Ngenza isiko lami, wenza isiko lakhe. So, but it shouldn't divide us in a negative way. In a positive way, in a way ukuthi whenever he practices his culture, then as a black person, I shouldn't be the one bashing him. Okay. Because I'm also black, and I need to understand ukuthi yini isiko lakhe. So yeah.
I think to add on what Ubus is saying there, or maybe to another thing, man. What I want to say on what Pussy is saying is, you were saying, ne? Amasiko eno are different, right? Because he's Xhosa, you are Zulu. To me, since South Africa is one of the multi-racial countries, ne? I think, man, in all these cultures, I feel like zonke into esizenzayo, they almost the same. Eqaphela. Like even though like sizibiza mhlawumbe ngamagama ahlukileyo, but I feel like khona abasifana khona. Fumaniseke uba okay, ilobola niyenziwa mhlawumbe niyenza ngendlela yenu, and then amaZulu ayenza ngendlela yawo, amantontoni. So I feel like we are common sisonke, just that nje I feel like there are a few things that yes, that make us different, because I've once been told that Africa does the same thing, like from Central Africa down to South Africa. Our cultures are similar, you know. All our cultures are similar, you know. So yeah, that's what I just wanted to add on what she was saying.
Let me quickly jump in on this. Culture does not divide us. People divide us. You know, we're supposed to look at our cultures as in about you have your own culture, I have mine. It's beautiful. We're together, like the colors of our flag. I mean, we have more than two colors, and they look good together. You know. Now the problem, people jump in and be like, mna as umXhosa amasiko wethu siwabambile ntontoni, and that rubs off in a negative way to someone else, because it comes across as well. Also mna eyami culture siyibambanga, you know, senza nje, you know. So our cultures are not dividing us. It's the people. Yeah.
But when you say that culture is not dividing us, but the people are dividing us, I think there's some kind of contrary there, because when you speak culture, you involve people. So culture on its own is the way a certain tribe of people decided to view life, decided to do things in a particular way that is different from others. For an example, I can say the system of culture started in an ancient ages where people lived in a particular different world, where, for an example, during the time of wars and everything, it was for survival. You understand? Because now we are a group, now, and then we decide that we're gonna form a tribe, and that purpose of the tribe it was for survival. You understand? So now I think that it's not necessary that people. It's not necessary that it's not culture that divide us, but it's people. I think people, culture, tradition, everything is dividing us.
Here's why I'm saying culture doesn't divide us, man. Zulu people pay lobola. Xhosa people pay lobola. Sotho people pay lobola. Tswana people pay lobola. That's culture. You understand? And then I, as a person, I jump in with a tradition of that culture, but my tradition is better than you. That is where the division comes in, not the culture itself.
Ethnocentrism.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I think she wanted to add something.
But and then what happens in a situation where the Western culture is introduced into our heritage? Like, what happens in a situation where you send umntana to a Model C school, ne? And then the kid is 5 years old, but xa ebuya esikolweni akathethi isiXhosa. Instead of uthetha isiXhosa, uthetha English.
and it's cool.
And it's regarded as an okay thing.
Yeah, it's been happening, and let's not even look at it. Well, I mean, even parents, old people have that mentality of that 5-year-old. Because look at it, you find that there are black people. You go home, you do your traditional wedding and everything, and you still want to do a white wedding. You know? So you're no different to that 5-year-old who's, You see, but I'm not okay. I want to. You know, yeah, man.
Okay, I think when we look at culture, tradition, they're all leading us to spirituality. And it's all taking us to the quest or the void inside us to search for a higher meaning in life. We're all trying to understand who we are. We are not sure who we are. We're not sure where we're coming from. We're not sure where we evolve. We're trying to close up the void inside us or rather we're trying to define who we are. Like if you look at anything that is in the world today, be it culture, be it language, anything, it was invented by people. It was invented. Communication started when we communication started when we wanted to convert a meaning. Understand? That's where communication started. And then when years evolved, we translated a meaning into a language. So my point to that is that since all this thing it's taking us back to the void inside us to search for a higher meaning or higher understanding of who we are, and that is spirituality. I think the division amongst ourselves, or the okay. Let me not get out of context. What I'm trying to say is that the common thing that brings us all together, it is a void inside us to search for a higher meaning. Whether you are white, you are blue, you are Indian, or what, we are all trying to cover the void inside us that we have. That wherever, even if, no matter how confident you are, every human being walking on earth today, there is a sense of feeling in them that says, I'm not enough. Like, I need to understand who I am. Where am I coming from? I didn't just fall from the sky. Where am I coming from? No matter how you can say I'm Xhosa, I'm confident, I'm Tsonga, but there is that thing inside you. But actually, grand, where am I coming from? We don't understand who we are. So we form this thing, culture, tradition, and everything, just to cover, and religion, just to cover that void inside us that we cannot ourselves understand where it's coming from.
You know what you're saying there. Yes, it is important. As we know that, as we know that, but as we know that as blacks, we should follow tradition, right? Amasiko wethu abalulekile, right? But ke ngoku, my question is, now what you're talking about is, I'm thinking of something that I've seen happen. You know, there are, not that I'm not judging them, yabo. There are people that of Manseke that, even though they know that they're Xhosas or Zulus or whatever, but Manseke ndio okay, they want to change the culture in a way. Why? Because mhlambe you'd find that basinsiwe mhlambe. Yeah, phofu manage basinsiwe. But now they want to change this, le ndlela kwenziwa ngayo izinto, you know. So why is it that people do that? Why do you think that people do that? Like abantu basinsiwe, like they want to change how we do things.
No, you can jump in.
No, it's fine. That's fine.
Okay, abasindis. Okay, abazalwane. I know them as abazalwane. It's because they don't believe in what we believe in. They don't believe that akhona amadlozi as much as Tina we believe ukuthi amadlozi akhona. Obviously, if you are practicing izinto zamadlozi, culture is involved, tradition is involved, and then obviously then they're not going to partake in that because they don't believe amadlozi vele at all. They just believe that there is God and that's it.
But I've once heard that in the Bible, there's a verse that says, okay, kuthiwa ithi ne, uThixo akazanga uzo uthina uzo change amasiko eni. Amasiko, just that uze, yeah, just to let you know that God is there. Ningawenza amasiko wenu, but remember, God is there. It's around those lines. Got la verse. Yebo.
On the people that don't believe in amadlozi, man, I find it hysterical for me, man, because you say with the very same mouth which you're saying, but I do not believe in amadlozi, you go ahead and say, oh, ndibisa wena Yesu nyana ka Abraham, nyana ka David, the person who you calling out. Esos nyanya is to somebody. Why is it okay? Why is this nyanya that is light in complexion, not esako? You know? Depended, I think the understand the reason why, or going back to that topic you mentioned at the beginning, that child, that 5-year-old. Another reason why she or he could have felt that way is because we as a people, we don't really put value on who we truly are. You understand? I mean, they even tell you when to celebrate who you are. They tell you to celebrate who you are on the 24th of September. So this whole, excuse my language, all this time, who were you? If you're only gonna be umsutu tomorrow, you're only gonna be umuvenda tomorrow, you're only gonna be, you know.
Okay. Okay. Let me just have a take on what you guys are saying. I'll start from Ubus when she said that Christians do not believe on amadlozi and everything.
Not all of them. Abazalwane.
Abazalwane. What is the difference between Abazalwane and Christians?
It's the same difference as Catholics and Zions. They're all Christians, but it's Catholic and Zion. Abazalwane, it's those that say, but amadlozi,
All right. So, okay, myself, I am born again. And I'm not ashamed to say that, and you'll understand throughout my talking about why. So let me first take on what you said, that we don't believe teenagers born again, we don't believe on amadlozi and everything. I think whoever told you that is delusional, because you cannot say, for an example, Langish, a person was living with us today, tomorrow they die, we bury them. The word amadlozi, it means an ancestor, right? It's a person who lived and died. So they actually existed in the space of time. So we do believe that akon amadlozi, yes, they're laying on the graves, they are there. So when you say amadlozi, now you involve spirituality, whereby in our language you call it phahla. You understand? Where we recognize them in a certain spiritual way, in a certain ritual or however. You understand? So the way I understand, and I grew up in a family that believe on like Africans, you understand, amadlozi and everything. And I myself turned from that and decided to become a Christian. And this is why. Okay, so this is what I didn't understand. The same ancestor that left you struggling now is the same ancestor that is telling you to go and buy a cow that costs 10,000 rand, knowing that exactly that you don't have the money to acknowledge them. If you love me and you know my situation, and when you are claiming to back up for me, why are you asking me to go and purchase a cow that is 10,000 rand so that I can recognize you? Why am I buying you?
Funny how you guys say you don't want to recognize the ancestors, and yet the very same God that you pray to actually recognizes those ancestors. Because in the Bible, there's a verse that states, you understand? God can bless your grandfather and his descendants. God can curse your grandfather and his descendants. And yet you do not want to recognize those people. And yet the high power which we're praying to actually recognizes those people.
Can I just add? Okay, I'm sure you said the person who told me ukuthi abazalwane they don't believe in Christians. I was once mzalwane. Listen, I was in the praise and worship team. I used to fast for 3 days, mina. No thandaza entabeni. I used to be that. I'm telling you. So, mina mangifika kuleyo nkonzo leyo. They told me ukuthi, yeah, we don't believe in ancestors. And nami vele, that time I never did believe in ancestors until a certain situation happened to me. They now made me not to believe in God anymore, and then I turned back. I'm not afraid to say that.
You don't believe in God.
Yeah. Okay, that time, okay, something happened, like something very deep happened. Then yeah.
It's not that you didn't believe in God. You just thought He didn't like you at that particular point in time.
Okay.
I understand.
Okay, I didn't understand the situation at that time. I feel like I was very young, and I feel like it was just too much for me, and I didn't understand why it happened because I used to be that child, you know, nyenkonzweni all the time. I used to pray. So I used to ask God every day, ukuthi, okay, ngiyakhonza, and now why is this happening to me? Ufuna abantu bangihleke bangibuza ukuthi uphi lo nkulunkulu engimkhonzayo? Why are you doing this to me? Ufuna bangibuza ukuthi wena ukuphi? You know, and then
Now you understand.
now I understand because, you know, empilweni ne, nobody said it was going to be smooth. So I believe ukuthi mhlambe I was being tested. Now I understand ukuthi mhlambe why that happened. Maybe I was being tested. Ukholo lami was being tested, and I think I failed to the test. Cause yeah, that time when you ngitshele ngesonto. Ubusi lona bekama kuma mfundisi ahlala noma mfundisi ubusi loyo I literally changed. I literally so noma ungathi kimi asambe senkonzweni girl I was like kancane nkosi yami ngicela ningimele nje kancane but at the moment I can't, you know, and then yeah, but now I'm okay.
You go to church now.
Yeah, I go to church now.
Can I add on something? Guys, I don't know. I think there's a conflict. Okay, so now I'm gonna break this down in terms of my understanding about this ancestor thing and the underground gang. Yeah, well, in my understanding, I like it's very confusing how you guys worship and praise about the underground gang. Yeah, that is confusing, ne? Because mama, my great grand, comes to me in like, how do I even know? Because I've never met her. Okay, fine, must split it up. What I'm saying is, okay, I once heard Losis Waibali Subana okay. Let me just say, okay, I don't believe in ancestors, but I believe in guardian angels. Yeah, well, I think okay, guys, I lost my brother in May this year, ne? And I don't think okay, Losisi Waisitumana she lost her husband, ne? And so this time she was about to buy a car and the car dealer was about to approve, ne? And before that, she was very nervous and when I was it's gonna approve the bank yonke lanto. And then she had a dream of her husband who has passed on, shouting, scolding at her. And she was confused, man, like what did the dream mean? Days later, only the car dealership to approve. So all I'm saying is that your family, they can pass on, but they can become a guardian angel in the sense that they can give you signs when something is about to happen. They can warn you. But the praising and you worshiping them and I don't know. Yeah.
How are we worshiping them? Worshiping and praising them. I'd like to understand that because when I burn imbeb, what do they call it? Incest? Oh, no, not incest, man. What? Incest is when I'm sorry.
No, more. We first before someone answer that, ne, we have to understand about what is worship.
Yeah.
What is worship?
Yeah. What is worship?
How are we worshiping and praising the ancestors?
Okay. So in the Bible, ne, kuthethwa ngezithixo. Yabo. Your phone can be something that you worship. Anything that it doesn't have to be in a spiritual being. It could be in any form. It could be money. It could be in any form. Worship how that oh, I don't know how to explain this.
Because I can easily go into the Christian religion
Like
and say,
worship in the sense of
Yeah.
you don't see nothing that adds value more than it. Ebomini bakho. Yabo. Like you don't see anything that adds value as your ancestors. Yabo. So I don't know if the conflict is where now now I see them as guardian angels because I believe if umakhulu wami, I used to talk to her every day and then she passes on, there is no way that when she passes on and maybe she was my best friend, I can still talk to her. Yabo.
How?
Like I'm talking to a spirit. Yabo. But does that mean when I need a job, I'm gonna talk to her? Like when I'm start trusting her about my future, but she's no more here. Like it's like I expect her to have this magic wand, but she's dead.
And how does a guardian angel work?
A guardian angel, in my perspective, is someone that appears, someone you had a close relationship with. Ikala api bond. Yabo. Someone you had a close relationship with appears in your dream. Yabo. It's either they warn you about something that is about to happen, okanye, but they say something, it's going to contradict what is going to happen, and then you're going to be like, yes, no wonder I dreamed, because my mother was telling me about this other time when she was in a dark space, and she walked into this room, and there was literally like light bulbs of every color. That symbolizes light. And she couldn't understand, she couldn't understand, what was the meaning of that. And then later on, it symbolizes light, but something bad happened. Yeah, so it could mean anything, but in my perception of guardian angel is that someone appears in your dream and I don't know, it's like they warn you of, but it doesn't have to be a bad something that's going to yeah.
Can you tell you, your guardian angel is an ancestor. That's the role of ancestors. They come in your dreams or whatever, and they warn you. You know, they warn you. That's ancestors. You just don't want to use the term ancestor. You know, going back to that, having is tiq. Now I wanna focus on this Christian religion. There's a verse in the Bible which states that thou shalt have no other God but me, whether it's on heaven, on earth, or the waters beneath the earth. And yet you have Jesus, you call it the Holy Trinity. Is that not tiq? Because the person that you're saying about his God, Jesus, he went up to a mountain and prayed to who? Who was he praying to? So now what you're saying is that you are worshipping someone's ancestors and putting them, and nothing adds value apart from that. You're worshipping him, is it not? Do you not worship him?
I think Bose has something to say.
Okay, one thing that I'll say, Nim, I feel like people don't understand ubuzalwane. Ubuzalwane, like as for Silence, I feel like he's a bit confused when it comes to ubuzalwane, because he said, "Lumuntu bekakutshela ukuthi amadlozi awekho, they're delusional." You understand? So ubuzalwane, it's basically you.
A bunch of those delusional people.
Ubuzalwane, it's basically you uyekela izinto zomhlaba. I feel like mina ngasinto sisemncane, that time I didn't understand. Ubuzalwane.
That is very wrong. You can't sorry. You can't refer to ubuzalwane as a bunch of it's a joke. No, guys, it's a joke, ne? But it's jokes like this that it goes back to the Nubite Tina, we are dividing culture and don't. It's what you are saying. That's a joke. Like when you are saying it, but how it's landing on me is different from how you.
Okay, I get you.
Yeah, because when we have such jokes, and then mna, I feel some type of way about you disrespecting my belief. Yebo?
Okay. But like, why is it easy for Christian people to disrespect us?
Okay, can I have a take on that? I think this is why I'm gonna say why the person who told you that is delusional. Ne? It's because there's a scripture in the book of Samuel where the king at that time sinned against God, and then God couldn't communicate to him. And then the king, Samuel was dead that time. Samuel was a prophet and he was dead. And the king said, since now God cannot speak to me and we are going to war, now I'm going to consult a sorcerer or a witch, so that I can awaken up the spirit of Samuel, the prophet. He went and he did that. And then when he awakened the spirit of Samuel, Samuel said, why are you troubling me? You understand?
It's in the Bible.
So it's in the Bible, yes. It's in the Bible. It's in the Bible. And someone said, why are you troubling me? So the reason why I'm saying he's delusional is that us as Christians, we're not saying that there are no ancestors. That's not what we're saying.
But you guys don't believe in ancestors.
We don't worship ancestors.
So Tina, we do worship ancestors.
Because what is worship? Tina said worshipping something is to say that. What did you say about worship?
Worshipping something is anything that you add value to.
Is it an incense?
It's something that I can't remember the definition I gave.
Okay, but that's what worship is. To me,
Like you
as
put it here, and then everything else doesn't matter.
Okay, can I just add?
And everything else
Doesn't matter. Okay, fine. Okay, I worship God, but still I give recognition to my ancestors. Recognition. It's recognition.
recognition is worship.
I think here's the mistake. You take your own definition of worship, and when you see me talking to my ancestors in Chisimbepa incense, ne? Chisimbepa, on your mind is worshiping. Whereas I'm not worshiping them, I'm just letting them know, but I still remember you.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I recognize you. I haven't forgotten you.
This is why we shouldn't, according to my not according to my perspective, but according to the Bible, why we shouldn't recognize them. Number one, it is the commandments of righteousness, the 10 commandments. They are for righteousness, and then it says you shouldn't. Yeah, the 10 commandments are the commandments of righteousness. It's telling you not to murder. It's telling you not to steal. It's telling you
I'm a Christian.
you cannot judge Christianity based on people. You can only judge Christianity on its pure context.
Based on what? When the very same Christians don't. When I go to church, that's a sin.
Okay, this thing, boss, and it comes to you have to say, go and tell Mamfunis Banyam Tana with this tapawe. Yeah. And the Mamfunis is saying what? Is renouncing the love that has been shared by a fellow member of the church. So what I understand that when God wants to do something on earth, he uses people here. You understand? That's why it's important for our interrelationship to be of good value. It's important to love one another. You understand? I think that mindfulness is delusional as well.
Okay. You said we cannot judge Christian religion based on the people that... No, man, that is wrong, bruh. That is wrong. We can definitely judge it by the behavior and the actions of the people that claim to be Christians. Do you understand? It's like in Middelstad. If we, the people that live in Middelstad, have no manners and whatnot, people that live in Middelstad have no manners.
But Middelstad is a constitution, for an example. Middelstad is a constitution that says these are the laws or these are the rules of this race. For an example, that I had a problem with my roommate and everything, whereby he used to bring visitors now and then. The law says you cannot bring more than 2 people in the room. And then you do that. And then a person comes across that situation, who say, admits that people are fighting, there's no disrespect or whatever. Meanwhile, Middelstad released a rule ukuba you shouldn't do this and you shouldn't do this, because people are people. They always disagree, or they like ruining things. You understand? But it does. You see, Christianity, the context of Christianity, or I can say the oracles, or rather the ways of Christianity, are pure and are straight. People are just diverting it, people are just messing it around. But if you can read the Bible on your own, you will see that the Bible is taking us, is trying to build a harmonious and a peaceful world.
Let's look. Oh, okay.
Guys, hey. Okay. Okay, with everything that you guys are saying, I want you guys to understand that the basis of Christianity, this is how I understand it. The basis of Christianity is having a relationship with God. That is number one. You seek the face of God, and He will then guide you. For an example, with the incident that happened, like ecaweni yakho, bruh. If you can be so kind to someone and then they could receive your kindness ngolo hlobo, that means ubana inhliziyo yabo is dirty.
A lot of Christians are like that.
Yabo. And just because I say I'm a Christian and inhliziyo yami doesn't resemble that, it affects what Christianity stands for.
Yeah.
Yabo. So it goes back to this other conversation we once had, Ubana. If a sex worker would go to church with a miniskirt and zipume, people would be like, "Hi, she's not allowed to come here. This is not how you should dress." Of which that is wrong. You go to church to seek God. Once you have seeken God and you start building a relationship with God, God will minister to you. Umana, this is not how you dress. And it's different when God is telling you to abide into something, and it's different when man is telling you to abide to something. Because you can tell me, Umana, don't steal, but I see the very same you stealing.
Yeah,
then it contradicts what you told me and but what you are doing.
But it doesn't change the fact that Christianity is pure.
It contradicts. But once you seek God as a whole, He will lead you. So I also think I don't think Umana it's Christianity that is being polluted. It's people who are polluting Christianity. Because of the fact that you are tapping into Christianity, you want to change your perspective of life. But if you're not allowing the higher source to change your heart, if inhliziyo yakho imdaka, if ulixeleko, you can stay in a mansion. You can stay in a mansion. But if you are filthy as a pig, you'll always be filthy as a pig. No matter in which country you stay at, you'll always be ixeleko. But if you seek that in you, it goes back. If you seek that in you, I can't do this by myself. I need a higher source. If your higher source is ancestral belief, then that is fine. If that ancestral belief is going to lead you into you changing and becoming this supernatural being, then let it be it. But I don't think Christianity is changing people. It's people who are changing Christianity. Because they are not going into Christianity with what it stands for.
Okay, can I just add? Going back to contradicting, the very same Mamfundisi who tells you not to believe in ancestors is the very same Mamfundisi who goes to a Sangoma and consults. I used to watch Abafundisi, ne? Abazalwane. Okay, Abafundisi abaningi babazalwane bangcolile. Bangcolile because, bathanda spotlight. Kuyagcwala enkonzweni yami. And people when come to my church, imali, bahamba ngemoto eziphezulu, bayazithwalela lezo zinto lezo. I watched the show. They confessed ngomlomo wabo. Inkinga ngabantu abamnyama is that you guys go to wrong places. Nifuna uncedo, nifuna into ephathekayo instead of seeking God. Nilahla lapho. That's it.
But okay, I believe that even though I don't go to church, but I do believe that there is God. I do believe that there is God. And to what she is saying, it's one of the reasons I don't set my foot at church. And mna, I believe mna, uba ndingathatha iBhayibhile for instance and read it and understand it. I don't need umfundisi to tell me to tell me okay, this verse kunje nakanje nakanje nakanje. Yabo. Mna, to me, I don't need umfundisi to tell me that okay, this is what you need to do, this is what if mna ndiyenze ngolu hlobo, ngolu hlobo ndiyi-understanda ngalo, then to me that's it. You know?
Can I just...
You and me on the same boat. I also don't go to church, man. I used to be a church kid, man. You know, family, church. I even have a church that have a Bible name, you know, but I don't go there anymore, you know, because I realize that these people are two-faced. Not every Christian. I'm going to give them a benefit of the doubt. Not every, but the majority of those that I've seen, they're two-faced. You understand? You'd find someone like you guys said earlier on, they say one thing and then they do the next. You know, they're in church demanding people to give umnikelo, tithe and everything. But when they go out there and there's a person that's begging for food, the very same person who was in church being vocal, oh, nigel and whatnot, they roll up the effing window. Why do they do that?
Can I add?
You know? Instead of, okay, yeah.
And they're very wrong for ukuthi umfundisi abize imali. uNkulunkulu uthi nikela ngaloko kuncane onakho. Even if I have a 10 cent, it's still okay. It's what I have. It's from my heart. You know what my grandmother used to say, ne? Ugogo wami uthanda ukuthi isidakwa sikhonza kakhulu and futhi sikhonza kakhulu ndlula uma mfundisi. Futhi si right kakhulu ndlela umfundisi because umfundisi uyahamba yoqamba amanga ebandleni. Mara isidakwa masingadumisa manje hayibo singahlabelela kuze kuvuleka amazulu. I am telling you because lo muntu loyo maybe usuka lazi iqiniso uyalazi iqiniso lakhe ungidlula umfundisi lo omekuphi epulpit telling people lies.
Yeah, man, that is why I would tell somebody to rather do whatever they're doing in their room, man, rather than go to church. You know, because when you go to church, you're going to encounter somebody that is just going to destroy your spirit, man. You woke up feeling fresh, like, yo, man, I feel like praising. I feel like go to church. And this person, simply because I had a quarrel with their daughter or their son, now they're going to open a verse and explain it in a manner that is going to make me look like a bad person. You understand? And by the time I leave church, man, my heart is torn. It's torn, you know? So why would I want to go into a place where they're committing sin each and every day, man? Another thing why I don't go to church. Yeah, you guys commit sin in church. In the Bible, there's a passage. I'm not really good at this, but there's a passage in the Bible where it states that Jesus walked into a holy place and he found those people doing business within the church. And what did he do? Pulled up a shambok, moved the F out of them. It's in the Bible, right? Agree with me? Yes or no? It's in the Bible. It's in the Bible.
Yes, it's in the Bible.
Okay. The reason why he did that is because they were doing business in a place of worship. Now, your priest is rendering a service. It's part of business. From that service is expecting to be paid through umnikelo wako, through a tithe yako. That's business. Your priest sells anointing oil. There's a path in the Bible where Jesus' disciples were complaining to Jesus for using some expensive oil on a poor woman or something of that sort. But Jesus still used that oil nonetheless. Why are your priests and your pastors selling anointed water, anointed oil? And
Where is that anointed thing is coming from then?
I think what you're saying, ne, basically hearing from your statement, ne, 100% support you, ne, and there's something that I'm going to applaud you for. What you're saying is to say that Christ is righteous and you're recognizing Christ. By your statements, because
let me clarify this real quick, man.
Yes.
Let me clarify something. The statements which I uttered earlier on were not statements coming from a person that doesn't believe
In God.
in
Not
God
God,
or
Christ.
Jesus Christ.
Christ,
Oh, you understand? No, it didn't come from that point. I was just showing you guys, but as much as Christians can throw stones at other people can also poke loopholes into what you have. You understand?
Okay. Guys, then I just want us to understand, Bana, this thing is, okay, if you guys would take people from, because there's Santon, and then there's Alex, and then it's separated by a road. Yeah, well, if you remove everyone a Santon and take Ababantu, bahlala Alex, bayobeka a Santon, kunganjani a Santon?
All right.
No, kungamoshwa. You know why? Ima with looting. You know why? Instead of uthatha juice, okanye a can, throwing the juice in the can kwi-drain, kodwa uyayibona i-drain nantsi lapha, and taking the container uyifake emgqomeni because umgqomo ulapha. You'll just throw that on the road. Yabo. So it's not Santon that is a problem. It's people who are coming to Santon. Yabo. So Christianity is not the problem. It's unpurified hearts that go into Christianity and use Christianity the way they choose to use Christianity. No, I just want us to have that basis. So, man, with everything that you are saying, it's unpurified hearts that go into Christianity, and it reprimands what Christianity stands for. Yeah, so it's the problem is not Christianity; it's the people.
Why in Christianity?
Yeah.
Okay, I get your point. You see, if I go into a store, now I'm dressed the way that I am. I go into a store. When I walk out, I'm wearing a suit. So Lani goes into a store dressed the way he is. He walks out wearing a suit. Silence goes into the store, comes back wearing a suit. That store offers suits. You understand? A person who I saw raising their nose on a poor person was a Christian. A person that said, "Andidinga uthando lwabantu, ndidinga uthando lukaThixo," was a Christian. You understand?
Isn't their heart unpurified? Huh? Is their heart purified or unpurified?
I can easily say that their heart was polluted by the Christianity, the religion. Because I could say, but they weren't like that before they went there.
No, they've been like that. But they thought Christianity would change them. They've been like that.
Okay. I think we should come to the center of the conversation.
No, Iman, guys, they've been like that. Let me make an example. If Utubana you were abused when you were young, and now you are 35 and you're like, "Hi, now I'm old. I'm no more. I'm no more victim. I'm no more. I'm a survivor, and that doesn't bother me anymore." But you'll forever be triggered by whatever incident that happened. Up until you choose to go for counseling and you seek help. So same thing with Ababantu. Their hearts are still the same. Up until bona they accept and be honest with God. God, inhliziyo yami inje imdaka. Cleanse my heart. And then God will start doing the work within them.
You know what I hate about people? During the June season, when boys have to go to the mountain, there's always that elasiko labaxhosa is what is ndondon. When these boys are misbehaving, it's always isiko labaxhosa ndondon. Why can't we use the same mentality on Christianity?
Okay, no, guys, hence I was saying that let's go back to the center of conversation, heritage, and you understand? So, just to wrap up on what we're talking about, I don't think it is what it is. Everyone is sick at heart. I want you to start looking at church as a hospital. Understand? As a hospital where even the doctors can get sick sometimes. And the reason why I'm saying that is that the church is not a building, or the church is not a building, according to my perspective. The church is the congregation, the gathering of people. And that gathering of people on its own, it's far from perfection. I myself, I can raise my hand that I'm not perfect. I myself, and the reason why I chose to be a Christian, let me give you a very, very short story of why I became a Christian. I usually say this because after sharing this, some other people once said that it changed them at some point, and I'm going to share it again today. So when I was 3 years old, I lost my mom. And when I was 9, I lost my dad. Then we grew up in a house ruled by teenagers, right? Growing up. So my brother was the eldest, and you quit school in grade 9. So to go and work and then come back and take care of us and everything. So I'm not saying this story to find sympathy and everything. I want to show you something here. And then I grew up from a family that believe in African thing like path and everything, you understand? And they always told us, but we need to recognize them. We did that growing up, you understand? We did that. And to myself, something was talking to me in the heart. I don't want to lie. Something, not a mere voice like that I can hear, but more like a conversation with myself to say, I should shift from this and I'll start seeing my life better, you understand? And I chose it. I chose that path, and I said to myself, I'm not going to take this path of what my parents or what my uncles are telling me to take, you understand? But I'm going to be different, and I'm going to church, I'm going to be a Christian. And thank God, the church that I went to accepted me, and they raised me. You see me today here. I'm from Mpumalanga. I'm a student at CPUT, right? A church raised me up. A church raised me up as a young boy growing up. You understand? That's why I saw the love of God. I didn't see the love of God from what my family were telling me to follow, because I couldn't understand their perspective. But when I started to go to church, I was taught about the love that Christ has for us. And I abided on that, and I saw things happening in my life. Miracle to me is not to change water into wine. Miracle to me is to change a dirty heart and make it pure. That's miracle to me.
Can I just add? Sontweni nogu. There's a difference between ukhonza no kholwa. I want to explain that. Ma ukhonza, yes, uyakhonza, you there usenkonzweni, and that's it. But then mangaba ukholwa, how do you expect ukuthi uNkulunkulu asebenze ngaphakathi kwakho wes awukholwa? How do you expect amadlozi ukuthi akusebenzele wes awukholela ku? Obviously they're not going to work. It's a matter of faith.
I think I made the right choice for me.
It's a matter, and okay, with me like defending amadlozi nanan, it doesn't mean that I don't believe in God. Every day I do pray. I go to church, and ngiyabathanda futhi abazalwane kakhulu, because ngibajwayele kakhulu, like that's where I grew up. But I got to understand ukuthi I don't belong there. It's just not me. But I do believe in God.
With that being said, and what you said, Silent, I believe people should just mind their own business, man.
Yeah.
You know, if you believe in this, then believe in that. Don't bash me for believing in something else. You understand? Because I can easily do the same thing to
We're
you.
just having a conversation.
I'm not fighting. I'm sorry for raising my voice.
No, I'm saying that it's essential for us to kind of speak it